Hello, students. Today we are going to do the second part of the poem, the satire Shadwell. So now Mac Flecknoe is actually pondering and wondering that which of all my sons is absolutely fit, who can be my successor. And then he realizes that the person who most resembles me can become my true successor. And then he realizes, and he says, Shadwell alone my perfect image bears, mature in dullness from his tender years. So he says that out of all my foolish sons, out of all my unintelligent sons, Shadwell alone is actually who most resembles me. He's my perfect image. He's my perfect copy. He is as foolish as I am. And he's mature in dullness. See, you have two opposite words coming here. He says he's mature. That means he's complete in dullness. Dullness means foolishness from his tender years, from his childhood. So Shadwell alone is absolutely fit to become my successor because he is a foolish person. He is a boring poet right from his childhood. Shadwell alone of all my sons is he who stands confirmed in full stupidity. He says, out of all my foolish sons, I have a very large increase of my sons, meaning I have a very large kingdom which is full of foolish poets. But Shadwell alone of all my sons is actually the person who stands confirmed in full stupidity, who is absolutely foolish, and we can vouch on his foolishness, we can vouch on his stupidity, and he will never ever deviate from stupidity. He will never deviate from his path of foolishness. The rest to some faint meaning make pretense, but Shadwell never deviates into sense. He says the rest of my sons, sometimes, some faint meaning means sometimes they show, pretense means they show a slight ray of intelligence. Sometimes they show that they are witty. Sometimes they show that they are very slightly intelligent. But Shadwell, he is a complete fool and he never deviates into sense. He never ever leaves the path of foolishness and goes into intelligence. Some beams of wit on other souls may fall, strike through and make a lucid interval. Some beams of wit. So here, beams here means the rays and wit means intelligence. So now, beams of wit means rays of intelligence. Rays of intelligence here, it actually symbolizes brightness. So some brightness or wittiness or intelligence on other souls may fall. Means my other sons may become intelligent or may show some sense, but in their foolishness, in their mind which is full of foolishness, some beams of intelligence may enter. Strike through means enter into their mind and make a lucid interval. Lucid means bright and interval means for some time, a break. So their mind which is full of the darkness of foolishness, it can show for some time, for a brief time, it can show some intelligence. But Shadwell's genuine night admit no rays, his rising fogs prevail upon the day. But Shadwell's genuine night, so the poet here actually, night here symbolizes the foolishness of the poet Shadwell. He says Shadwell's stupidity, Shadwell's foolishness, Shadwell's unintelligence is absolutely genuine, it is true, and it will admit no ray of intelligence into its mind. His rising fog prevail upon the day. So here, fog which covers everything and you cannot see anything. Fog symbolizes foolishness and day symbolizes intelligence. So his rising fog means his ever increasing foolishness. It prevails upon the day means it covers totally his wittiness or his intelligence. Means his mind is totally covered with the fog of foolishness. Now besides his goodly fabric fills the eye and seem designed for thoughtless majesty. Now not only Shadwell is mentally a foolish person, but here Dryden also attacks on Shadwell's physical structure. He portrays Shadwell as a person who's very, very fat, goodly fabric. He's very fat. He's so fat that when you see Shadwell, fills the eye means you cannot see anything else. And seem designed for thoughtless majesty. And he's so fat, and in his looks, he is so dull, he is so foolish that one look at him can confirm that he has been specially made for reigning over the fools. Thoughtless majesty means he is destined to become the king of fools. Thoughtless as monarch oaks that shade the plain. He is as thoughtless, he is as worthless, he is as useless as the monarch oak tree. Now, oak tree, which is very big, it has a very big trunk, and it is called the king of the trees, but it can only give shade. It cannot give any kind of fruit or flowers. Similar is the case of Shadwell. Shadwell is very, very huge. He's very fat. He's absolutely worthless and useless as the oak tree. And spread in solemn state supinely reign. Now Shadwell is so fat that he cannot even sit. He's spread means he's lying down. In solemn state means in a serious condition. He is so dull, he is so foolish that he does not give any kind of reaction because he does not understand anything. Supinely reign. He's lying on his back. Supine means he's lying on his back, and reign means he is ruling over the kingdom of fools. Heywood and Shirley were but types of thou last great prophet of tautology. Now, Heywood and Shirley are the names of two poets who were known for tautology. Tautology is the art of repetition. Like repeating one thing again and again and making it monotonous in poem is called tautology. So, Heywood and Shirley are notorious for writing poems and using tautology, but he says that Shadwell is so foolish that even Heywood and Shirley, they become your copy, and Shadwell is the last great prophet of tautology, means he is the last poet of tautology. No one ever could beat Shadwell in tautology. No one ever could beat Shadwell in dull poetry. So this completes our poetry. And as we can see that it is, this extract, Shadwell, is very, it gives us happiness. It brings smile onto our minds, and we start thinking about Mac Flecknoe and Shadwell. So it is written in a very delightful mood. It is a satire which is very obvious on Shadwell and Mac Flecknoe, who were actually the friends of John Dryden, but due to a quarrel, they became enemies, and this satirical poem is the outcome of the enmity between Dryden and Shadwell. The language is very simple. It is written in iambic pentameter, and the poem is very, very comprehensive. It can be understood very easily. Thank you.